Hey y'all, it's me, Charlotte360, and I absolutely hate doing this video. I re-recorded it now like 3 or 4 times because I just felt like I was disconnected from what I was saying because I'm trying so hard not to hurt anybody who's watching this video. And so I'm going to refrain from talking about what happened. I won't mention specific words regarding that action. We're just going to talk about mental health, and I'm going to try to give information for you all that are survivors. And it may seem weird to call you a survivor, but it is important to understand that you are. And part of the reason why that is so important is because recently I have been reading more about depression, mental health issues, and whether or not depression is contagious. And one of the things that they're starting to study right now is the effects of social media in contagious depression. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, depression is not a virus or an infection. You shouldn't be able to catch it. But when they say depression is contagious, what they mean is that when you're faced with a crisis for someone else, that individual's crisis can sometimes throw you into crisis. And so in that way, it can be contagious because it can exacerbate something that you may have already lingering inside of you. And because of that, I feel like it's important for me to discuss mental health right now. I'm not going to make any assumptions as to what kind of mental health issues Sully was struggling with, because I didn't know her like that. And I've seen a lot of people say it was depression, that it was the bullying, that it was a lot of things, but none of us are her psychiatrist or doctor. And there's more to mental health than just depression. There's OCD, there's ADHD is considered a part of mental health in many ways. There is bipolar, there's schizophrenia. There are so many other things that are a part of mental health. And so to just lump it in as depression does a disservice to those people who are struggling with different mental health issues, and it does a disservice to the treatment of those people that have depression, because it makes it seem like it's this catch-all thing when it's actually quite specific to numerous folks. Depression can sometimes be a part of someone's overall mental health picture, and sometimes those people who have struggles with other mental health issues don't have depression as part of their spectrum because it is its own thing. So I wanted to make sure I said that completely. Now, I need to address your feelings, because some of you may be feeling that you wish that more had been done, that people could have intervened, that this could have been stopped. And one of the things that I think is the most important thing I can tell you from personal experience is you cannot manage another person's emotions. As much as we would like to be a comfort and a support to those people who are dealing with depression or schizophrenia or suicidal thoughts or bipolar or any other illness out there, the fact of the matter is we can't stop them from doing the things that they do, because they are individuals and they have autonomy, and they are the only person who's in charge of their life. So unless you're willing to bound somebody to a bed and have them under surveillance 24/7, there isn't anything you can do. And one of the issues that a lot of people don't tend to be able to take on internally is that when it comes to disordered patterns of thought, a lot of times things that you might give to someone that are external can't pierce their internal dialogue. So if you tell someone who's struggling with a mental health disorder, you're beautiful, you're confident, you're talented, everyone loves you, you have so much to live for, you don't have any reason to be sad, just because you say it, and even if you mean it, even if you're sincere in what you're saying, there's a wall inside of them that keeps that feedback from piercing all the way through. And this is what happens to numerous people that have mental health disorders. It's not just, oh, I choose not to listen to you, or I choose not to see the sunny side of life. A lot of it really is, I'm not getting anything from you, because the voice inside my head on the other side of that wall is saying you're worthless, you're terrible, nobody likes you, there's something wrong with you, you should have never been born. All of those dialogues are running in the background, and those dialogues are louder than anything you can possibly say. And that's a lot of the reason why people who cope with addiction issues, people will tell you they can't overcome that addiction until they make the choice. And for someone coping with a mental health disorder, they can't overcome their issue unless they make the choice. Now, yes, there are times when medical intervention is necessary. People have need to be put on a 48-hour hold. They need to be, restricted from allowing to govern themselves because it's a medical emergency. But even then, if they choose, after being put into observant care, that they don't want the help, you can't blame yourself for what happens, because there was nothing you could do. Literally nothing you can do. And I want you to understand that, especially in the position that you're in. In the position that you're in, if you're watching this video, there's no way that you're IU or Tayon or Sully's family or any of these other people, because I'm not a blip on their radar. You're probably a fan. And if you're a fan, you probably have tweeted kind words. You've probably left kind comments on Instagram. You have probably had fan sites and bought albums and bought digital singles and watched television shows. You've probably done all the things you could to be as supportive as possible. But even the thousands of voices that are cheering encouragement, those thousands of voices sometimes are overshadowed by the one voice that confirms everything that's going on in the background for this individual. And because of mental health issues, disordered thoughts have no rhyme or reason. They don't abide by typical logic, because if they did, then they could be overcome. So don't take that on yourself. Now, I know also we all are ready to jump down the throats of negative commenters, and I'm with you on that. I don't think that negative commenters are good at all. And I know that some of the things that I've said in the past about how I felt about Sully leaving FX, there are going to be people in the comment section saying that I'm a negative commenter, and that's fine. I'll accept that. But I think when it comes to negative commenters saying that they have blood on their hands and this is all because of them, again, you're giving way too much power to people outside of the individual. I'm not saying that the negative commenters are able to change things, or how do I say it? That's not what I want to say. I'm not saying that negative commenters aren't able to exacerbate a situation. That's what I want to say. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that the negative commentary out there is not the only element to a very complex issue that needs to be dealt with mental health professionals. That's what I'm saying. Because there are people who are beloved that don't get the blitz of negative commentary, and they do this anyway. There are people that in their real life are not noticed by the world. They're just regular, ordinary civilian people out here, and they might come from loving families, and they might have jobs where the people on their job think they're wonderful, and they might have friend groups that are extremely close and have all of these good things going for them, and they still are overcome with this darkness. So I'm not giving a pass to negative commentary at all, But don't believe that if we eliminate negative commentary, that all of a sudden that is the cure-all and be-all. And the reason I want to make sure that we don't do that is because there is a problem with the way that a certain segment of society views mental health. And to me, that is an even bigger issue than negative commentary. If you tell me something that affects my mood to the point that I don't even feel like I can continue to function, I shouldn't be shamed for seeing somebody to help me get outside of this negative cycle. It shouldn't be a problem for me to talk about needing to see someone to get help. My employer should encourage me to get help. If I'm somebody whose employment is based on my personality, is based on my body, you should be assisting me in maintaining my mental and my physical. And that, to me, is where the campaign should lie. Because, to be honest with you, the shitheads who say all of the stupid stuff are never going to change. This is going to be something that's going to be on the radar for a couple of days and then it's going to go away. But what can be a permanent change, what can last for more than today, is telling the employers that we want your support. We're not robots. We're people. You know, we're people. And sometimes you go to school or to work and you feel like shit. And the people that you work with or that you're around, they don't see your pain. So then you tell your employer, I'm overwhelmed. And so many times the response is, well, take the afternoon off, but then get back to it. It's never the follow-up of, how do you feel now? Do you need extra support? Do you need HR to refer you to somebody? Do you need to check up on our healthcare benefits covering this? Also, as much as international fans shit on South Korea, I'm an American. And when it comes to mental health insurance, America is piss poor about it. So then you need the help and you can't get it and you're not supported in getting it. And people want to fire you because you have to take extra days off work. And people want to shame you because you can't do everything because it affects your mentality. And I'm not crying for me. I'm crying for the people I know who've had to deal with this. I'm crying because I know that when you get to the point where you've actually asked for help and there's no one listening, what do you do? What do you do when you can't afford a therapist? What do you do when you can't afford to take the time off because it's not seen as covered PTO time? What do you do then? And even worse, what if you live in a culture where even saying that this exists, that you have a problem that exists, gets you ostracized from everyone around you? So, yeah. I'm not in league with giving negative commenters more power than they have. I'm here for speaking truth to power. And when it comes to the power cycle here, it is the employer. It is the culture that tells you you're wrong for seeking help. It is those people who tell you to put on a brave face and to count your blessings and let that be enough, because it's not. Praying it away is not enough. Making a happy playlist is not enough. Going on vacation is not enough. Making more money is not enough. It's not enough. It's something more. It's something intangible. It's something that people need real, legitimate help with. So, to end this discussion, I want to say this. I will be making a $50 donation to the American National Suicide Hotline. I encourage you to make donations to your respective country's suicide hotlines, so that you can provide a free resource to those people who cannot afford to pay for the help that they so desperately need. I'm going to continue to pray for the friends and family of Choi Jin-ri. I'm going to hope that if our voices are loud enough, that the powers that be will respond in some way, shape, or form, because human beings are not commodities. And until we reinforce that, we're going to continue to be treated as if we're nothing but the labor we provide. So that's where I'm going to end this. And also, just to let you know, I'm on Twitter. It's Shawwal_360. DM me if you need. I'll do what I can to help you, whatever's within my power, or whatever I can take, to be quite honest with you, because if I find myself spiraling, I'm not going to be able to respond, because I have to think about my life, because my life affects my child. But do what you can to protect your mental. If you need to get off the internet for a couple of days, feel free to. If you need to kind of just check out of some of the noise, please feel free to. But just know that you who are watching, who are like myself in the position that I'm in as well, it's not your fault. And there's nothing you could have done. The only thing you can really do now is to take self-inventory and protect yourself. Live a better life. Live a life that you're proud of, so that you can be the one to spread the legacy of the people that you love that aren't here to tell a story. Thank you for watching.